Hey, this is Angela, your midlife curl coach. So I'm coming at you with a challenge of sorts. This is a challenge, but using what you have already in your home. So let's say you're struggling with dry hair, with brittleness, with thinning, with shedding, and you are just struggling to keep your hair moisturized. Here's what I want you to do. Here's what I challenge you to do without even changing what you already have in your home. I know that you have an inventory of products, whether they're neatly arranged on a shelf, they're underneath your sink in a basket, or they're just everywhere throughout your house. I know that you do. So let's take a look at what you already have. Here's the first thing I want you to do. Check to make sure you're actually using a moisturizer because you can claim a lot of things on the front side of a container, but the ingredients label, that's where the FDA gets kind of feisty if you're doing something not quite right. That's where they get feisty. So the ingredients label, when you look at this list, it's ordered in the quantity of what's in the container. So the ingredients at the beginning of the list are the largest amount of what's in this container. And those things all the way at the end, that's the least amount. So you need to see water or aloe or some type of humectant in the first 2 to 3 ingredients. If you're not seeing that until the very end, you're not using a moisturizer. And that could be right there while your hair is dry because you're not moisturizing properly. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Make sure that you're using an actual moisturizer. Now, the second thing, pull out that satin or silk bonnet, scarf, or pillowcase that you have. It makes a world of difference because as you're sleeping and you're turning and you're tussling and all the things we do when we're in bed, we don't even need to talk about them here, but all those things that we do in bed, take a look. Protect your hair from cotton. Cotton is very drying and dehydrating. It creates tangles. It roughens the cuticle of our hair. All the things that we don't want to happen. We do all these things when we're conscious to take care of our hair, and then things that are happening at night once we're in bed, not so much, not so good for the hair. And frankly, you really want to protect your skin because I know you're using serums. I know you've just found that ideal serum that works for you or that eye cream that works. And if you're sleeping on cotton, that cotton is pulling that serum that you just spent $100 on right off your face. What good is that? What good is that? So you really want to protect your investment. So make sure that you're protecting your hair. I tend to use silk or satin scarves because I may sleep with my hair in a high ponytail or a pineapple. I may sleep with my hair in twists. Sometimes it'll be in curl formers or flexi rods. So I like the flexibility of having something that I can adjust the size of to take into account something sticking out of my head. But if that's not you, then a bonnet may be just fine for you, or even a pillowcase may be fine. I tend to sleep on my back. For me, I tend to sleep on my back. And if I stay in that position long enough, I get kind of sweaty back here. So I like to lift my hair up off and put it up onto the top of my head. So it keeps me from sweating in my hair and then messing up the style that I spent so much time working on because I want that style to last as long as possible. So here's the first thing that I want you to do. Check to make sure you're actually using a moisturizer. Be sure of that. Check that ingredients list because you want to make sure that you have water, aloe, or at least a humectant in the first 1 to 3 ingredients. Because if you don't see that until the end of the list, it's not a moisturizer. So you can't expect to moisturize your hair if you're not using a moisturizer. Okay, then pull out that silk or satin scarf, bonnet, or pillowcase. Whatever works for you. I've told you what works for me, but whatever works for you. Protect your hair. Cotton is very drying and dehydrating, and it will sap the moisture right out of your hair. You spend all this time putting that moisture in, and then you're losing it to a pillowcase at night. No, 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 that's not acceptable. We don't want that. Now, and then here is the third thing that you can do to make a difference in how moisturized your hair is. And here's this. Put your moisturizer on soaking wet hair. Don't moisturize dry hair. You want to moisturize on soaking wet hair. It makes a difference. Even if the product you have is not that good, it's going to make a difference. when you apply that product to soaking wet hair. I've been saying this for years. Keep using the stuff that's in your closet, but just use it in a different way. And again, that is one of the biggest things that you can do. Because moisturizing dry hair, no, it doesn't really do all that much for you. But moisturizing soaking wet hair, that does. And that's what you want to do. So I've got those three challenges for you. And I can't wait to hear your responses coming back. Drop those comments below. See you.